Ballymena, I need to get away, to start over again. 3 years at a London college, just about getting through, left me with a feeling, despite my remarkable good fortune, that I was not yet on my own journey. We want to start over again for many different reasons. Mine too were multiple and confused, but generally I was reacting against the straitjacket of a religious upbringing, with an overwhelming sense that somehow, somewhere, I could start over again on my own terms. So I went on an odyssey to the Antipodes to work as a volunteer in the Solomon Islands in the Western Pacific, as far away from home as I could get on the globe. And this is one of the stories that's set on the tropical island of Santa Isabel, where I worked. On a bright white sandy beach, coconut palms sweeping up to a blue sky, the bishop is a big, imposing man. He's wearing shorts and a t-shirt with a logo, South Pacific Games, Guam, 1975. Middle-aged, thinning hair atop a broad smile, he vigorously shakes my hand and in perfect English says, "Good to meet you again, Stan. I saw you at my inauguration last year in Seppi. Sure, there's room for you in the canoe. We'll get you back to Boala." I reply in pidgin, "Thank you, Tomas. Good fella, Tomas, for meeting you." And back in English, Seppi last year was great. I stayed for the full 2 days. He laughs. The most white men I've ever seen on Santa Isabel at one time. Behind him, on top of the beach, I spot a large stack of baskets, mostly potatoes, fruit, garden produce. They're gifts. Beside that, bundles of personal baggage. Silas, the islander whose canoe we're traveling in, sees me taking this in and says in pidgin, "Hey Stan, you no worry. Bye canoe blow me hemi good Tomas. You know go bag it up, let's see." Which means we'll be all right. While the bishop and his family say their goodbyes to a group of villagers, a long dugout canoe is loaded in the shallow water, leaving just enough space for the bishop in the prow, his wife, daughter, and myself, separated by baskets of food and their belongings. My rucksack is but a small thing. On the shore, the villagers sing a hymn in multi-part harmony as Silas cranks the outboard motor to life and we steer the laden canoe away from the shore, waving. In the open water, the canoe cuts cleanly through the swell and the outboard settling into a steady drone. In the balmy wind, with some occasional sea spray, there's no conversation. Silas puts out a trawl line, hoping to catch a bonito or swordfish. Once we're out of the bay, past Fulacora Point, it's a straight 25-mile run up to the sheltered lagoon of Boala. Silas sets a course close to the headland, where he believes the swell is big, but not choppy. Seeing where he's going, the bishop in the prow calls to him, indicating with a sweep of his right arm to go further outside, out to the open sea, beyond the choppy waters. Silas looks to the rough water, hesitates, shaking his head slightly. Again, the bishop waves his arm and Silas swings the loaded canoe around, seaward. Suddenly it gets very choppy. I think maybe the wind has picked up. The canoe is rocking. I feel a bit more sea spray on my face. Some water comes over the side and with a bamboo cup I start to bail some water from the bottom of the canoe. The bishop waves his arm again, more urgently this time, and looks back at Silas, who nods. The wave comes at us slightly to port. There's no time to react. I see a wall of water blocking the horizon. It washes over us in turn, from the bishop in the prow to Silas on the outboard. The engine coughs, splutters. My bail cup and my cap are gone. Everything is drenched. Water fills the canoe. If images have been thrown into the deep among baskets of potatoes and other baggage, but we're still upright. I'm sitting in water. There's only a few inches of freeboard, but the outboard continues to splutter. I bail water frantically with my cupped hands. I see nothing but water. Taste the salt. I bail. The canoe continues to lurch through the confused sea, spray coming from every side. I bail and bail. I know the others are doing the same. Focus on the watery space in front of them. We bail and bail and bail. until eventually the outboard settles to a steady drone. In the confusion, Silas has changed course, close to the headland. He's gunning the engine in the troughs, turning to meet the bigger waves, all the while bailing with one hand when he can, his eyes searching for calmer water. By the time I look up and take in the surroundings, the canoe is in a steady swell, waves breaking on the reef's headland close by, open sea ahead. The water is well below my seat now. There's little coming in. My heart eases. Soon the headland is behind us and we're in a lighter swell, the wide vista of sea and sky bristling with light. The tree-lined shore with thick bush and distant mountains a constant companion. In about 2 hours, we'll be in the Meringue Lagoon, Philocora Point almost forgotten. The bishop, framed in glistening sea spray, turns to Silas and raises an arm. Silas nods in return, keeping a steady course. And starting over? I didn't start over. I just changed heading, both in those beautiful tropical islands and later when I came back to beautiful Ireland.